The southwest and on and off showers and thunderstorms likely. A few more could sprinkle in there tonight, and then tomorrow we stay stuck cloudy, but cooler, highs only in the low 70s. We pop to the mid-70s for Friday with mostly sunny skies, but a chance of showers. That's the forecast on the mighty 1630 KCJJ. It's 84 degrees at our studios.
And it's Wednesday, it's the noon hour. That means it is time for Senior Talk, which is brought to you by the Solon American Legion and Senior Benefits. Here is your host, Rex Brandstatter.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much, Tommy. What a great day it is to be an Iowan. What a great day it is to be right here at KCJJ Studios, helping you with a thing called Senior Talk. Wow, greetings, and welcome to Senior Talk. Excuse me, a great day to be here with you and a great day to be a senior. Absolutely. Hello to each and every one of you, and thank you for taking time out of your busy day. And to those listening who are senior gonnabes and wannabes, I say thank you so much for listening. I'll do my best to bring a lot of ideas every week that might cover important aspects of being or becoming a senior, and we'll have a little time for some senior history as well. So, pull up a chair, grab a sandwich, and a nice cold root beer, and let's see what we can cook up. My name is Rex Brandstatter. I'm a 76-year-old real estate broker who loves to meet, talk, and work with seniors. I help lots and lots of seniors sell houses and properties. Market is okay, not the hottest we've had, but it's okay. I work with a lot of seniors and their families. I work with the executive estates, administrators of estates. I sit down with families, seniors and their families at your house or coffee shop or my office, and we just sit down and talk about what your needs may be, maybe now, maybe in a year or a couple of years, because it's not always an emergency type thing. And if you're really, really sharp about this, you and your family are talking about, well, give us another year or so, and then we're going to have to leave this house, or we want to leave this house and get a smaller house or move to Arizona or wherever it may be. That's when you need to you can give me a call if you wish. We sit down and talk about your needs. My number is 319-330-5534. It's the senior line, 319-330-5534. So let's talk seniors, shall we? You bet you. Summer is here, and trust me, it's good. Tommy just said that the weather is for the mid-70s in the next couple of days. Well, folks, I don't like that. I want the mid-80s. That works for me. I really liked it yesterday. I didn't think it was too bad of a day, and I like it. And the 90s don't particularly bother me. I like it hot. It's summertime, and I like it hot, but we'll take whatever we can get. Well, I should tell you that as I drove down here this morning south of Iowa City, the corn and the beans look absolutely great. Now, I'm certainly no farmer, but I called my cousin, the farmer over by Walcott, and he says, the corn looks great and the beans look great, but he says it's what gets in the bin that counts. So even the farmers are saying, yeah, it looks great, but they're not saying too much because they have a long way to go in the growing season. So Iowa is truly, truly beautiful this time of year. So get out there and drive around, go for a ride, go get lunch at a small town, go to a different grocery store in a different town, anything. Shake up your routine and get out there and have some fun and enjoy the Iowa countryside. Well, a couple weeks ago, my wife and I, we said, on a Saturday morning, let's go somewhere. So we did on one of my little trips, and we went to the Candy Kitchen in Wilton. Now, if you've never been to the Candy Kitchen in Wilton, that's a candy store. It's an ice cream store. It's a old drugstore apothecary type of thing, I assume, or maybe it's always been a candy store. I don't know. But ice cream and all, treats and sandwiches, stuff like that. The place was packed. Honest to God, truth. I think there's some new owners or new members of the family are owners. That store, I think they have a sign out front or inside. It says since 1856 or Civil War or 1864 or something like that. It's been going ever since then. And it's remodeled nicely out front. They have tables you can sit out front now, which they never used to have. And they have regular hours, I think. Don't quote me, but I think the hours were like 11 to 6 Monday through Friday or something like that, or Monday through Saturday. And so anyhow, great place to go. You take Highway 6 through West Liberty to come to the big Highway 38 over north of Muscatine. Take a left and take a right down through downtown Wilton, and there you are. Piece of cake. Anybody could take the interstate. Rex doesn't take interstates unless it's an emergency or have to get there in a hurry. Well, we didn't have to get there in a hurry, so feel free to take Highway 6. Wow, what a great day that was. That was fun. Speaking of ice cream, when I was a kid, it was the Zesto on the Strip. Z-E-S-T-O, the Zesto. Or we went to Sidwell's downtown, or which was right next to Joe's Bar downtown. Who knew that later on, as a kid, I went to Sidwell's, and then as a college student later on, I went to Joe's right next door. Oh, well. Later came the Purple Cow on the highway out west of Coralville, of course, and always the DQ on Riverside Drive, which has been there for absolutely ever. So that was the ice cream, and the Zesto was on the Coralville Strip, and it was where we went in the 50s. And I think early 60s. I don't remember exactly when they closed, but I'm going to say they closed late 60s maybe, somewhere along in there. But after the Little League games, we went there. If you won, you got a 10-cent cone. If you lost, you got a 5-cent cone. And that's how we always wanted to win. We got a bigger ice cream cone. It kind of put the little competitive edge to us as Little League kids, and that's what it was. So it was right there where the Vine is, right in there, and it's back in those days. The Zesto, it was pretty much looked like the smaller, a little bit smaller than the Dairy Queen on Riverside Drive, but the building sat below the Coralville Strip, below, and that was the natural grade. So when you pulled in their gravel driveway and parking lot, you went kind of down a ramp, a gravel ramp, and then the two lines formed out front while the cars went by. But it was nothing like the Coralville Strip is now. So, but then, in order to thwart the flood potential, they filled all that in later on in life, and especially after 1993 flood. So now the buildings, there's a parking lot right there. It is 100% street level. The Zesto sat 3 to 4 feet below that natural grade of the Coralville Strip. Aha! There you go. Wow. Good memories for that one for sure. And I've had a lot of conversations recently with family members and other people around town talking about the Zesto. And it true. Now we were in Missouri not too long ago, and I saw a Zesto, so it must have been some sort of a buying group, maybe not a franchise, but a buying group, and you got to buy things at reduced prices if you became a Zesto and bought their cups and straws and stuff like that. That's how that worked. Well, I got a call from a senior, and the senior says, my folks are both in their mid-80s. They live in the house, and every time my sister, and she said we're both grown adults, every time we go there, a couple times a month, the house looks, she said, weaker inside and out. She said, I'm talking about yard appearance, inside, the cleanliness, the vacuum cleaners. We kind of marked where the vacuum cleaner was. It hasn't been out. The inside is getting to look old, like old people live there and don't care about doing things like that. And she said, I think we hit the nail on the head. The mom and dad have kind of fallen down in the horse race here, and it's time for them maybe to let go. Is it time for a family meeting? I said, absolutely, 100%. And your family meeting should be, first of all, I would meet without mom and dad first. So if there's just the two of you, just sit down. I know you both go there, but go somewhere, sit down, and have a talk just about this. And both of you lay out, maybe there's others in your family, lay out what your ideas are. Lay out your thoughts and ideas. Okay, then one or two of you go see mom and dad. In this case, it looks like two sisters. You both go see mom and dad, and you lay out your observations. And lay them out. When we come here, there's stacks of mail, and it looks like maybe you might not making the gas and electric bill there, and there's all kinds of stuff in the refrigerator. Been there a long time, and the house is kind of a disarray, and it's kind of dark in here, and it just doesn't look like things are getting done. What's up, mom and dad? Just lay it right on. What is up, mom and dad? What do you think we all feel when we come here? This is not the way this house looked like when we were all going and growing up and things like that. Age is kind of caught up to you. We understand it. Nothing to be ashamed of, for sure. We all understand that, and we're here to help. We have some ideas. Oh, what are those? We think we're doing okay. Well, obviously they're not. That's their first line of defense. Why? What's wrong? Well, all right, look around here. The kitchen table here, the dining room table's got stacks of mail. There's a couple newspapers or whatever, magazines you haven't read. There's a chair over there by the door, and you got stacks of mail over there you haven't gone through. What's up with this stuff? There'll be obvious telltale signs. It's not hard. These two sisters have already noticed it. So they said, "Is it time for family meeting?" I said, "Yes." Is it time for independent living or in-home care, yard service, snow removal? Well, those are things that you will answer after you and your sister talk, and after you sit down and talk to mom and dad. All those things would be options. Independent living while they can, in-home care, I don't know, something like that, Meals on Wheels, all kinds of things. There are services. Get somebody to mow the grass beside the neighbor kid who's about half reliant, type of thing, stuff like that. So you need to have sort of a State of the Union address with mom and dad. Sooner the better. Absolutely. Don't delay. Take it for what it is. It's part of getting old. It's part of the program. I had the same talk with my mom and dad. And my dad passed away not too long after the big meeting. And my brother and I sat down with my mom, talked about her driving, how we didn't gonna have her drive anymore. And she opened up her purse and gave us her driver's license, and said she didn't feel comfortable driving anymore. She thought it might be a liability and hurt someone else, which is the exact same speech we were going to give her. So that's the story. I want these two women, they're both adults, they said grown adults is what she told me, to go back and have a nice, good meeting with mom and dad about all those things. Nothing else. Take them a sandwich if you want, take them lunch if anything. Get them in to sit down and talk. We're going to talk, and this thing might take half a day. You never know. They will, in all honesty, they will have a good conversation with you. I guarantee it. Well, the senior man says this: our house is the nicest on the block. He says, I'm not bragging. You can drive up and down. Our house is the nicest on the block. We now have a couple of rentals real close. Unorganized, spotty lawn care, cars. What should we consider doing? What's up? And I gave them 3 words. And remember, I'm a real estate broker, but I only do this. I'm not 100% here for that every week. But I said 3 things come to mind. What? Move, move, move. And I said it won't get any better. Your neighborhood has morphed into an investor hold rent level. Now, by that I mean your neighborhood, all of a sudden, there were maybe a couple houses that weren't all that great anymore. And so investors see that, flippers see that, and they track things like that, and they came in and they bought one and they rented out. And unfortunately, a lot of landlords, not all of them, I'm a landlord, not all of them, don't pay any attention to things. And this sounds to me like you've got renters next door. And usually, if you've got these all kinds of cars, stuff like that, they've got more people in there than the city will allow. So the first thing you could do, you could call the city and say, I'm a neighbor. You don't have to give me your name. And I live at 123 Main Street, and the house at 129 Main Street's got about 5 or 6 cars there all the time. People come and going all the time, and the yard looks terrible. They won't comment about the yard, but you can tell them that you need to get to the bottom of things. And then you could also find out who owns it and give them a call, because they're not paying attention to it. They are really tearing apart a nice neighborhood. So it won't get any better, most likely, and your neighborhood has sunk to what I call the investor hold rent level. And good time to move, folks, because when the neighborhoods start to get that, it won't just be 1 or 2 houses. Pretty soon there'll be more, because your other neighbors who still look nice, the homes look nice, they'll be getting out too, and you could be the last guy there, and then your property will be devalued. When you have the nicest home on the block, that's not the best thing for real estate, by the way. You drag the other people's up, but in return, they drag you down. So just be on the lookout and be very aware of where you live. Matter of fact, go for a walk around your neighborhood, and I'm talking down the street, around the corner, across the street, blah, 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 get in the car and do it, whatever works for you, and just take note. Well, the Smiths used to live there. Boy, yeah, they used to be the nicest looking place. Boy, look at that. Now they got, I'm not picking on everybody here, they got a camper parked there, and they got a boat around the side. And what's that car? That blue car's been there for a long time. It's I don't think it's been run. Look at that. Look at this over. You got to take stock of your own neighborhood. When you purchase a home, first of all, you buy a neighborhood. That's true. So now if you've lived there a long time, like maybe these folks have, You're just so used to going there, you don't even consider what your neighborhood looks like. Take stock of your own neighborhood. Wow. A lady called me and says, we have a new pickup truck. I said, congratulations. And she said, whose name should we put on the title? And I said, well, not being your legal advice, here's what I suggest. This is my suggestion. You can check it out with anybody you like. Both names, Bob Smith, Jane Smith. All right? Here's why. Something happens to Bob Smith, and it was just in his name. Mrs. Smith, Jane Smith, is not her car. I'm going to put that in my wife's name. All right, that's your business. But something happens to Jane Smith, it's not Bob Smith's truck. So if you put Bob and or Jane Smith, Bob Smith and Jane Smith, you're pretty well covered in case something happened. All right, that's the way to consider doing that. I'm not your advisor. That's the best way to do that, in my opinion, so you don't get locked out. Case in point. My dentist had a chairside dental assistant, and she said, Rex, I have a question. While she's cleaning my teeth, I had a mouthful of that toothpaste with sand in it, I used to call it. She told me that her husband had a stroke, and she was concerned about making a payment because he couldn't do anything. So she went to the bank and said, I'd like to talk to the bank. My husband, we have a new pickup truck. And the banker knew who she was, looked up, and the banker said, I can't help you with anything. She said, no, I want to make a payment on his truck. And she said, well, the banker said, I can't tell you anything because of HIPAA law, which is Information Privacy Act. Well, he has a loan here, doesn't he? Well, I can't tell you that. Is the payment like $650? I cannot tell you that. Well, what do I need to do? You need to go get power of attorney. You need to get power of attorney for somebody. Well, her husband now, he'd had a stroke. He couldn't appoint her, so she had to go to an attorney, become power of attorney for her husband, went back to the bank. Yes, he has a blue Ford pickup truck, blah, blah, blah. Here's the payment. And she made a payment. And then she later sold it. And she could later sell it because now she was power of attorney for her husband, and they had the title. The bank had the title. She sold it. But all they would have to do was put both names on the title. Please consider that for sure. All right. I have 3 cars on a local drive-through car wash unlimited plan, lady said. Pretty expensive sometimes. I store one all summer and drive the other, vice versa. And my wife drives the other one. So what's happening here, the man drives one, and the wife drives one, and they have another one that they store in the winter, and then they get it out in the summer and put the other one back. So we like the plan. She said, but, one of them, if we have all 3 of them out, we don't only drive the 2. I said, call the car wash and tell them that we're going to say you store a SUV, you drive that in the winter, and you drive a sedan in the summer. I said, tell them which one you're storing so that when you go there, they shut off the credit card monthly charges for that one. I didn't know you could do that. Yes, you can. Absolutely. I do it. I have almost the same situation, and I do it. I store a car I have a car stored right now in my shop, and I turned off called the car wash where I have this plan. I'm at almost the same scenario, and they shut it off until I get it out. Then I call them or their website, turn it back on. Kaboom, save yourself some money. So you actually get 3 for the price of 2 is what it amounts to. Wow. What happens when you can't find the title to your motorcycle? I want to sell it and can't find it. Well, first of all, you big dumb head, what did you do with it? All right. You're past that. You can't find it. So what you need to do is you need to go down to the administration building, the DMV, down to the administration building, and take that information with them. What information? Take the information that you had a registered motorcycle in your name. They'll look it up on the computer and tell them you've looked high and low, everywhere you can think of. Can't find the title. What can they do? And they will begin the process. It doesn't happen in 2 seconds. Begin the process of creating a new duplicate title. It's called a duplicate title. And you will get a duplicate title. It's just what it says. They've got the records on the computer. If it was in Iowa, if it's in Iowa, you can go down there. At any DMV, they'll look it up for you and they'll help you out. You've got to make a duplicate title. Once you get the duplicate title, you can sell your motorcycle. So it brings me to this question. All those listening today, do you know where the title to your car or cars are? Do you know where the title to your motorcycle is? Do you know where the title to your boat or your boat trailer is? You have that information in a spot that you can go look at it. If you find it all, can you take a picture of it on your phone and put it into a file on your phone? All right. Tommy can't find his music file, but that doesn't mean we all lose files. So put it on your phone. Put it in a folder. In you're old fashioned like me. I put it in a file folder and keep all that stuff together. That's exactly what you need to do. This guy can't find it for his motorcycle. I'm asking you if you know where your car trailer is, your pickup truck, your boat trailer, all that stuff. If you know where those are, because you're going to have them to sell them. All right. My brother is a man. My brother and I lost our older sister over a year ago. She was in her late 70s. We are both in our low 70s. She was the executor. She has yet to, I may back up on this thing. There are two of them left. Two brothers are left and their sister died. And the guy says, my brother is the executor and he has yet to clean out the house and sell it. And their sister died over a year ago. Wow. The will calls for all these things to be done. So what should I do? So the two brothers are saying their sister died over a year ago, and in the will it said they sell the house and get rid of her things and maybe donate this or blah, 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 that. And so been over a year, and the one brother who was named the executor, not co-executors, but one hasn't done, quote, anything, according to the brother who called me. Well, that's not good, probably. I would say that's not good. That's not reasonable. You might want to ask the executor brother if he's worked with an attorney, has scheduled to meet with an attorney, rather than just jump on him like this. You want to figure some things out. So call him and say, Johnny, you're the executor on this thing, and Sherry wanted their house to get sold and cleaned out. What's cooking? We got to get on this and see what happens. And at some point, you're going to offend your brother, but maybe you're going to shake him up. Maybe he says, I don't have time. Maybe he says, I just can't bring myself to go in there, at which time you could say, well, let's you and I go there together. Let's you and I go figure this out. I can't sign anything because you're the executor, type of thing like that. Get busy, work together, get it cleared out. This is not easy because World War III starts over wills. World War III starts over inheritances, A to Z, whether it's the boat or the car or $10,000 or a farm or $100,000 or $2 million, whatever it is. World War III can start real easy. And this is why they invented attorneys. If you guys can handle this yourself, you won't. I'm not going to say you don't need an attorney. I'm not trying to tell you not to do that at all. But you can do a lot of things. The attorney's going to tell you, go get the house sold. Go get rid of her stuff. Go sell the car, blah, blah, blah. He's going to tell you that, and you're going to he or she, and then you just spent a few $100s to hear that. You already know that. You get this figured out, if you will. Do that. Take it and go. Has it been probated yet? Maybe it hasn't been probated and you can't get started. Maybe the attorney is dragging his or her feet. There's got to be just an answer to this. It's got to be. So find out, for God's sake, for sure. I'm asking you this face to face. Can you find a street around Coralville or Iowa City that is not under construction? It's the summer thing to do here when the students are gone and the weather's good, and then after July 1, there's new fiscal budgets open up, so now there's more projects than ever. Can you find a street around Coralville or Iowa City that is not under construction? That is your new job. A lady called and said this: we have heard that a seller of a real estate has to sign a property disclosure statement when selling. What's that all about? Well, the Iowa law says this. It's been the law for several years now, that a seller of 1 through 4 residential units. You have a single-family home, a duplex, a triplex, or a fourplex. Not a fiveplex, not an eightplex. 1 through 4 units, you have to sign a seller's residential property disclosure statement, and there's 20-some questions. Do you know what the zoning is? Have you had it checked for radon? Is there water in the basement? Is this serviced by the city sewer? Is this serviced by a septic system? Have you had the radon test? Have you ever had it tested for radon? Do you know if there are termites? Anything like that? How old's the roof? When's the last? How long have you lived here? Blah, blah, blah. It's pretty easy stuff for you, the owner. You have to fill it out. You can be in big trouble if you do not. So if you want to sell your own home by yourself, knock yourself out. I'm a realtor. I don't care. That's your business. But you have to have this. You've got to have it, or you could negate your sale. Could do lots of things, but you've got to do that. And they're looking. This started out of a lawsuit in Bettendorf, Iowa, where a man bought a house in Bettendorf, and he's out by the mailbox one day, and the neighbor said, "I see you bought the Smith place." And he said, "Yeah." He says, "Wow, good luck with that, with the water in the basement." He said, "Excuse me?" He said, "Well, the water in the basement." He said, "They always get water." He said, "Well, I had no idea." Because up until that point, there was a thing called caveat emptor, which was Latin for let the buyer beware. So the seller didn't say a word. When you moved in, you got the house with the water. Well, BS. Nobody wants that. If your house is serviced by a septic tank, you also have to have the septic tank cleaned out. It has to be done within 3 years of selling it. You have to have it not only cleaned out, but checked out and get the time passage certificate by a septic guy, certified septic guy. There's a lot to this. So just fill out, do it right, or you will be in trouble. You will get sued by the new people. All right. The Corville Church, a Corville Church, I might tell you which one, a Corville Church, recently got the okay to hire goats to mow 2 acres of weeds, which surrounds the church. They're 2-acre parcel of ground surrounding the church. The city of Corville just gave them the permit, the okay to hire the goats. So there's a guy who rent a goat. True, I'm not making this up. It's rent a goat, and they're going to bring the goats in, and they're going to they eat anything, folks. My cousin, the farm vet, he says, don't ever make friends with a goat. They're cute and have fun. But he said they eat everything, and every goat on 4 hooves has about 1 million tapeworms in it. So look at it. So anyhow, they're going to hire goats. So yes, there are going to be goats in Corville to mow 2 acres of weeds. Let me ask you this. Do you remember when the Corville pipeline, the tank farm is up there across the street from Perkins in Corville, been there since the 1930s. Do you remember when they hired a huge flock of sheep to do the same thing? And they've got about 20 to 40 acres up there. They laid off some people, cost-cutting thing. They hired a flock of sheep. I don't know how many were in there, but what they ended up with, 40 acres of sheep poop, sheep dip. And it was a messy time when they try to mow. They had to also do some trimming, of course, But they had them there for several years. And so this is not new. This goat thing is not new. You read about it. You've heard about it. There are going to be goats at a church in Corville. Holy Ghost. No, the Holy Goats. That's a good one. I like that, Rick. Good job. The Holy Goats. Holy Goats are coming to Corville soon, this summer for sure. All right. I'll give you a little fun. I've had some fun in the last couple of weeks, folks. I'm a dead sucker for stopping at a lemonade stand. I can't drive by one. I turn around, I go back, and I carry $2 bills with me. I just spent 2 of them this week. The little guys and the girls running those stands, they're the most innocent thing you've ever seen. I got 2 of them this week. First one was $1, and it was a big white styrofoam cup filled to the top. I could hardly pick it up. And the next one was $1, and it was a little white plastic cup, and it was filled halfway up. So there's no quality control. One was a little weak, and one was a little strong. So there's no quality control. It's not about that. It's about talking to the little business lady or the little businessman about how business is. Who makes it? Where'd you get all the stuff? Does mom help you? You need help? You doing this all by yourself? I assume you're going to make a profit. You're here to make profit. How's business? Type of things like that. And they're the innocent. They'll tell you anything and everything. You don't need to pry or anything like that. But how is business going? How are things doing? I'm glad you're here. I was really thirsty. I really needed that. Oh, by the way, how much is it? It's $1. And you give them the $2 bill, and you don't even, half the time they don't look until you're in the car and you keep looking at them. They're looking at it. They think half of them never seen one. Most of them have never seen a $2 bill. That's the fun of it. That's the beauty of it. They will keep that $2 bill the rest of their life. They'll have that when they're off to college. They'll find that $2 bill in their drawer at home. Oh, yeah, some guy gave me that when I sold lemonade 15 years ago. That's the fun part of it. So if next time it's at the bank, pick up 5 or 6 $2 bills and give them to the kid who comes to your door and something like that, just trying to size something. You don't want the product, give them a $2. That's a story. I have a lot of fun with that for sure. So Good for me, I guess. So whose photo is on that $2 bill? Huh? Anybody know? Washington's on the one. Grant's in there too. Hamilton. Who's on the 2? Who can help me with it? Who was on the $2 bill? I hear a couple of all the people. I only hear a couple of voices. That's right. It's Jefferson. Jefferson Davis. That's exactly right. That's what I told a lady not long ago. I told her about the $2 bill. I had one, and I said, anybody here, tell me who's on the $2 bill? And nobody knew. Nobody had a clue. They guessed. Well, it's not Lincoln. No, it's not Lincoln. It's not FDR. No. I said, it's Jefferson, because the picture is right there. I said, it's Jefferson Davis. And none of them, there were probably 6 or 8, none of them said anything. And one lady sitting over there, she was kind of pondering, and I saw her mouth the words, Jefferson Davis. Like, he was with the Confederate. He was the president of the Confederacy. So I said, I might have been wrong. It might be Thomas Jefferson, the 3rd president. Was Thomas Jefferson our 3rd president? Absolutely, he was. Who was number 1? George Washington. Who was number 2? Who was our 2nd president, ladies and gentlemen? John Adams. And then Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson and John Adams, who were not really all that friendly. They had different routes they wanted to go with the future of the government. Interesting enough, they were big hitters in 1776 and in our colonial time. Interesting enough, one of them died in Virginia, the other died in Massachusetts on July 4th, 1825, the same day, on July 4th, and neither one of them ever knew that the other one had passed away on that day. Wow, just a little history there, for sure. We've had some wind, not much. We've kind of dodged. Knock on wood, we don't want to say this out loud too much, but it doesn't get too cool at night, has it? So there has not been many thunderstorms, a few, but not many. Knock on wood, no tornadoes, and we don't want one. Davenport got an F2 last week and a bunch of flooding, but we've been pretty good. But now's a good time. Whether we've had any damaging winds, we have had some rain. I want you to walk around like I ask you to do a lot. Walk around the outside of your house. I found a gutter that I'm not happy with, so we're going to have a guy come out and take care of that. If you look for damage, do you have rentals? Have you driven by your rentals lately? Why not? Why have you not driven? Your rentals are income property. They're little businesses for you. You got a 12-plex. When's the last time you walked the halls? If you got a manager, we got a manager, Rick. Well, when's the last time you checked on them to make sure they're doing their job? Oh, never thought. Have you thought about putting security cameras in? Are you up to date with things over there? Have you walked around house to roof? Are you keeping it up to snuff? Folks, the rental property is the little business, the little mini business. If you've got several of them, it's some big mucho business for you. You've got to keep them in good shape, because if you don't, you're going to get crappy renters and it's going to go downhill. Not good. Rex, what do you know about no taxes on Social Security with this new bill? Well, I don't know much other than what I have read, and apparently 88% of the people collecting Social Security will not pay tax. Now, that leaves 12%. What would the 12% be? As I read it, you can look this up. You can go to any tax guy you want. You can look it up online. Their 12% is going to go by your adjusted gross income. So if you do get Social Security and you still have an adjusted gross income over a certain level, $40,000, I think, in addition to that, then you're going to pay some tax. At the present time, up to 50% of it is taxable. I didn't say 50% tax. I said 50% of it currently, depending on your income, is taxable. Well, that's going to go way, way down. So I like it. Good for us. Good for anybody doing that. We're going to a Colonels game Friday night and Saturday or Sunday. We're going to go see the Colonels again. Love it. Last night was the All-Star game. Listen up, the National League won. Good for me. I'm a National League guy. We had it in the bag all the time. Not true. The National League was up 6-0, and the American League came back and tied it in the top of the ninth to make it 6-6. Honest to God, it was just I can go on, but it was a typical baseball game. It's the old "it ain't over till it's over" type thing. It really wasn't. And at the end of 9 innings, and they announced earlier that the National League had used all their pitchers. Well, now what are we going to do? That guy's got to pitch, and his coach won't like it because they don't want those guys pitching more than about an inning. If that, not many go more than an inning. because they don't want to wear them out for the rest of the season. Makes sense. Well, here at the National League, they announced that the National League just put their last pitcher in. I'm going, I'm mad. I'm not happy. It's the Dodger manager, Dave Roberts, who did this. I'm not at all happy about that. Little did I know that if it ended in a tie, they came out with a new deal. They passed this thing 3 years ago that said from now on, if an All-Star game ends in a tie, they'll never have another tie. They had one in Milwaukee a few years ago. Made all of us baseball people upset, and the players, that they would have a home run derby at the end of it. So that's what they did. The American League came up first in the alternates. So it was an American League guy and a National League guy right on down the list. And at the end of that, the American League was ahead for a while. And then Kyle Schwarber, the old Cub, you Cubby fans stand tall. He's now a Philly. He came out and he hit, you get 3 swings, not 3 pitches, but 3 swings. He swung 3 times and hit 3 home runs, and the National League won it. The official score, 7-6 National League. Wow. I would have loved to be in Kyle Schwarber's shoes. I would have wanted to be the guy coming up with basically the game over, it's all up to me and my shoulder. I'm not saying I would have 3 homers, but I would have liked that kind of pressure. That's what athletes go for. That's what they really, really want. Well, the hardest thing about Senior Talk is the ending, and, none of us ever know about our tenure here on planet Earth. No guarantees were ever granted. None of them were ever, nobody ever said how long you're going to make it. So knowing that as seniors we are headed down the backstretch, I advise the following. This is not considered advice, I suggest. Do all you can while you can, whatever that is. Do all you can, whatever that may be, while you can. Walk, sit out on your lawn chair, go for a drive, travel, fish, quilt, whatever that is. Do all you can while you can, because we all know that time overcomes all, folks, and the older we get, the more susceptible as we as seniors are to issues. How's that sound? So hang in there, do your best to be a senior, a good old proud senior. We are what we are, and we're a proud bunch of Americans, and we as seniors. So thank you for listening to all my friends who have served in the military and who's are currently serving. Thank you so much, and all of our veterans mean a lot to me, for sure. So thank you all for listening. We'll see you next time. So long.
Thank you, Rex. And